About 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, Kanye West came out and said,
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Now, from that day forward, I knew, because of how he said it and the fact that he didn't back it up with anything, he just made a declaration. This is not a man I will ever listen to on the topic of politics. Whether I agree with him or disagree with him, I have no interest in defending him or arguing on the opposite. Because when you say something like that, you should be able to back it up. Now, if he said George Bush hates black people because I see this, and this in the hood, cool. I'm good with it. I don't agree, because it's an extreme thing to say, but at least you have an opinion based on something. Now, that doesn't mean I thought that Kanye should be shut up. I just thought he should shut up. There's a big difference. Because people don't seem to understand what freedom of speech is. So, and I'm seeing a lot in regards to him and a couple of other things. Freedom of speech is the government's ability to squash your voice. That's it. Now, because the government doesn't have the authority to do it, no one else does. But it doesn't mean there won't be repercussions for your words. And with Kanye West, I don't, because I'm on his side, or I agree with what he did as far as the White Lives Matter and the Candace Owens stuff, doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and start defending the guy. Because I didn't forget where he was just 10 years ago. And he may have genuinely thought that. That's his opinion. I'm good. So you have never heard me defend or argue against Kanye West when it comes to politics or anything else, honestly. Because I decided at that point, I'm good. I'm staying away from that. Now, if I had him in front of me, I would have absolutely talked to him and learned why he said what he said. And then I probably would have still determined that he's crazy. And he's not somebody I want on my side because he's saying things that I may agree with at that particular moment.
I don't care about people's responses. I care about the fact that there's more black babies being aborted than born in New York City at this point. That 50% of black death in America is abortion. So I really don't care about people's responses. I perform for an audience of one, and that's God. They have people that are around them at all times telling them what to be afraid of. It's like not what to do or say specifically, it's what to be afraid of. And if you have a person that isn't afraid of them, you know, like a Russell Brand or Candace Owens,
right.
It's not that we have to agree with this, but
they're not afraid.
They're not afraid to state what their opinion is.
Yes.
No one is God, and everyone has an opinion.
I think a man can have his opinion, and I can decide whether or not I'm going to stand by him and his opinion. But I will stand by his ability to say what he wants. Because ultimately, yes, there is freedom of speech. And what he's going through, I don't agree with, and I don't think is fair at all. And that's a whole different topic.
There was a day where I was headed to Nashville to meet with George Farmer, who is the CEO of Parler, the day when we made the announcement. At that same day, Balenciaga was taking my imagery off of their site, and the Drink Champs was being taken down. And I said, this is the happiest day of my life. I love cutting the grass low. People wasn't really with you. They was part-time. People switch up when it's wartime. I'd rather have people who are really with me.
So I do think that people are overselling this Kanye West thing on both sides. Just because you agree with somebody doesn't mean you blindly support them, because at some point they're going to go back to showing who they really are and disappoint you. Doesn't mean you can't defend your positions and say, hey, on this I agree with him. I don't see the value in that, because then you're just using someone else's celebrity to say when you agree or disagree, instead of holding to your own actual convictions and beliefs. And it seems like a waste of time to me. I don't agree with Adidas' decision, but I also didn't agree with Colin Kaepernick's ad campaign that Nike gave him. So it's interesting to see the people who aren't being consistent on both sides, because when that idiot Colin Kaepernick was kneeling and wearing, pig socks, anti-police socks, and anti-police rhetoric that his girlfriend was spouting, then everybody is like, oh, he needs to shut up. And same thing happened with LeBron James, who's a complete moron, doesn't know anything about anything.
When you're misinformed or you're not educated about something, and I'm just talking about, the tweet itself, you never know the ramifications that can happen. We all seen what that did. Not only did for our league, but for all of us in America, for people in China as well. And sometimes you have to think through things that you say that may cause harm, not only for yourself, but for the majority of people.
But when he speaks out on political issues, it's shut up and dribble, right? Now those same people are saying, oh my God, they're trying to silence Kanye West. It works on both sides. The left is just worse. But there's the same people who came out against, well, he doesn't have freedom of speech, Colin Kaepernick, and his employer can do whatever they want. Remember that. Because now we're seeing it not just with Kanye West, but Kyrie Irving. Another one. I've never agreed with pretty much anything he's ever said, especially when he tries to get intellectual. And then he came out with the whole flat earther nonsense. I called him an idiot then, I'm calling him an idiot now. The difference is now, and with the jab, I agreed with that. I do not agree with whatever's going on right now with this anti-Semitic thing. I think everyone needs to knock it off and stop with this pretend game that we're playing. He tweeted something. That's it. He didn't endorse it. He didn't promote it. He didn't say whatever people are acting like he said. He didn't say anything anti-Semitic. He tweeted something. He retweeted it. Now, once you find out something that you put out there may be false, you can delete it. But that should be the extent of it. This whole, do you condemn? That's garbage. That is garbage. That is control if I've ever seen it. Anytime something happens and someone else says, do you condemn it? Say no. I don't condemn anything. Because at that point, you're admitting a guilt. And if you didn't do anything wrong, you shouldn't condemn it. Why do I have to condemn racism? That would be acknowledging that I did or said something racist. No, I'm not condemning it. You're lumping me in with these other people. If I tweeted something that was pro-America and it happened to be a racist who tweeted it, it is what it is. Sorry, it is what it is. How come this argument didn't apply to Jeremiah Wright and Barack Obama back in the day?
No. Not God bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible.
Everyone said, well, he was just there. He shouldn't have to condemn his pastor, his spiritual leader. You guys are a trip. I swear to God, you guys are. Because it's whenever it works in your favor, you'll use an argument. You have no consistency, no intellectual honesty, and you're just going. You just go. You don't think about the position that you're taking. You think about what you're saying and what you like. That's it. You guys aren't acknowledging that opinions can not only be wrong, but can be in agreement with somebody you don't agree with. There's a novel concept. I can agree that this country is great, And so can somebody I don't agree with. And so can somebody I really dislike. Isn't that crazy? There are racist white people out there who claim to be Christian. There are racist black people who claim to be Christian. I can be black. I cannot be racist. I can be Christian. That's crazy. I can be black, not Christian, and not racist. Whoa. Get too deep here. Just because he tweeted something that had some anti-Semitic things in it, okay, we're now suspending this man. That's not what this is about. This has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. That's not what this is about. This is about the jab and him saying, no, I'm not doing it, and him standing firm and sitting out essentially an entire year. Not because he was wrong, but because they disagreed that what he was doing, they think was having a negative disinformation of impact on society. Now that he's proven to be right, instead of saying, we should probably let this go. No. They're going to double and triple down, and they're going to inspect his life and look for anything he's ever done, and they want him to condemn it. That's control. He shouldn't do it. He's already done it. I understand he did it, but he shouldn't do it. He's got enough money. If they're going to fire him and cast him away, that's fine. He's got tens of millions of dollars. He'll be fine. But he should not condemn anything or apologize for anything. I understand he already did. He shouldn't have. Because in doing so, you're admitting some kind of fault. And that's all they really want. They couldn't get you on the jab, so now they're going to make you submit somewhere else. And that's where we are in society today. Somebody comes up to me, do you condemn whatever? I mean, racism's a hard one to do on me. So they'll probably use the trans movement. Do you condemn anti-trans rhetoric? I'm not condemning anything. I didn't say it. I will defend anything I say or apologize for what I say or do. I will not condemn somebody else. That doesn't make any sense to me. But we're in a society today that wants you to bend the knee and kiss the hand if you can. If they can get it out of you. But they'll settle for bending the knee. And that's where we are today. Kyrie Irving shouldn't apologize and shouldn't condemn anything unless he did it. And a retweet is not an action. You don't have to fully read what you're putting out there and retweet it. You may say, oh, that's funny, tweet it. And it turns out there's a joke in there by somebody who's a bad person. Okay. But once you start showing you care about this stuff, that's how they can control you. Up. He's an anti-Semite. We got to stop with this. We really do. We got to stop allowing people to throw words like that around. And this goes for black people too. Just because somebody says something you don't like or disagree with, or maybe even uncomfortable, doesn't make them racist. And this whole anti-Semite thing is very weird because it's been going on a long time. And this is, there's a conflation happening between American Jewish men who are very successful in entertainment, music and film, and then Israelis. Completely separate. One has nothing to do with the other. One's actually not even very highly religious. The other is very faith-driven, for the most part. So the actions of one has nothing to do with the actions of the other, but there's a societal rift going on between black people and Jewish people, and it's been going on since the Holocaust. Let's be real. Black people had a very unique experience in slavery, and there is an entire industry built on that. And this industry is built on saying, you're a victim, you can't overcome this. It's insurmountable. And the only way to overcome it is reparation and all the typical stuff that we hear about. Reparations, making these white people bend the knee. It's what these people do. They make millions of dollars doing it. They're victim peddling. So what's worse for black people than having a group of fair-skinned people overcome something so massively tragic? Oh, that's not good for business. Because the first thing that a logical person will do is say, okay, well then how did the Jewish people overcome this? Let's talk about that. No, they don't want to talk about that. So we have this war of envy going on. We've gone through this horrible, tragic thing. And now we need to figure out how to capitalize on it. And there's a group of people that's what they do. They make a living off of this. It's what's happening. It sounds crazy. It sounds like a conspiracy. It's really not. It's what's happening. And instead of black people saying, you know what, we need to find out what the Jewish people did and how they've come up in such a short period of time. Because what happened to them happened in the 30s. Now it's happened to them all throughout history. But this is a group that is historically gone after. And somehow, black people ended up doing the same thing and going after them. It doesn't make any sense. There are brothers and there are sisters. We need to figure out how they overcame what they're overcoming and how they came out on top. Instead, they're using, and by they, I mean racist people, are using our pain to pit against another people's pain and do this weird comparison that are completely separate, but we can learn in a shared experience. And instead of doing that, we turn, especially the NOI, Nation of Islam, is really, really good at this. They got out of it because somehow they're the white devil too. And somehow they're using black people to get over. It's a really nasty game. It's a very dangerous game. And we're now to the point where there's two groups you cannot criticize. Now, black is one of them, but the difference is we don't mobilize the same way Jewish people mobilize. So if you say something racist, we'll call you a racist. There's no conviction behind it, and we don't pursue it because it's typically liberals who are racist, and they understand how to play our pain and use our pain to garner sympathy, but we don't go after people like Jewish people do. So if you're going to say something anti-Semitic, you better believe there's going to be repercussions, and that's how it should be for everything. So I would caution people to take us who are taking sides to think about what they're doing. You're just playing into this weird game, and I don't know. I think it's really unfortunate that people don't see through this and that they're partaking, because it's not productive. Nothing that's happening is productive. And instead of fighting, we need to be figuring out how people overcame things and how they're doing well, instead of focusing on the negative and making people bend the knee and condemn stuff. Who are we to condemn anything? Do I really have the power to condemn? Let's think about this. If Paul Pelosi gets beaten with a hammer, and I happen to have a political leaning in common with people who don't like Paul Pelosi, so now I have to condemn the action against. I have to condemn somebody getting hit with a hammer. Think about how ridiculous that is. Do you condemn beating somebody with a hammer? It's so insulting that it's not even worth answering. Of course, everyone condemns it. But if you don't verbalize it, bend the knee and say it out loud, you must be okay with it. What is this? This 3rd grade? I have to condemn murder now too? Otherwise I'm okay with murder? No. I don't have to condemn anything. What a weird power play. It's a fascinating one because somehow somebody thought of this. Somebody thought, if I can get somebody to not condemn rape, then I could put them in the camp with rapists. It's insane. I don't have to condemn anything. Even my own actions, I don't have to condemn them. I can apologize for them. But just think about what condemn means. Who really has the power to condemn anything outside of God? Nobody. It's so silly. It's so offensive. I'm not ever going to condemn anything. I'm letting you guys know now. Even if I say something stupid, I may say sorry. But otherwise, I'm going to say, yeah, I said something stupid. And move on. Do you condemn it? No. I don't have the power to condemn anything. I condemn you for proclaiming the power to force me to condemn anything. Go somewhere with that garbage. Does the left ever really condemn anything? I don't see them condemning anything. They don't even subscribe to the nonsense that they want us to be a part of. We had a candidate where a guy tried to stab him on stage. Does he have to be condemned? I didn't see the left condemn him. The guy trying to stab him. He got up on stage. When it happened to Trump, remember that guy who jumped up on stage? They didn't condemn that guy. They cheered him on. The only people who want condemnation are if they're forcing somebody who disagrees with them typically to agree with them. That's what they really want. Can you at least admit I'm right this time? Can you please just this once admit that I'm right? That's what they want to hear. It's sick. It is really a sickness. Can you please just agree with me this one time? Come on, guys. At least concede this. I need a victory in life.